Welcome back, everybody. Long time no see. I'm sure you have just been chomping at the bit for a week, eagerly awaiting the arrival of this podcast. Fear not, here we are in the flesh. Lorenzo is remote, but in studio, I am pleased to announce our very first guest comedian. We have, would you give it up for Marvin Diaz?
Yes,
Marvin
sir.
Diaz is in the building. Oh my goodness. If we had an applause sound, the crowd would be
Thank you for having me.
the crowd would be raucous in their appraisal.
Love you too. I love you too. Oh man. Shaking babies, kissing hands, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Kissing babies like the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah, man. That was
Just like him.
that was you know, nothing sacred anymore, right?
Nothing. His holiness is now his raunchiness. Oh my goodness. What
It's
a
in very poor taste. Poor move to say the least.
poor move, yeah. I'm sure it would have tasted great if he got
Yeah. I love the
What he
cultural
wanted.
spin that they put on it too.
Oh yeah, what's that? Like that it's a
that's-
custom.
Well, you know, like, and I'm with you. I had the same reaction. So, like, I understand. You know, in some cultures, the males hold hands, and it's a friendship thing, and
Uh-huh.
but no, I can't understand where kissing, where tonguing someone is.
Yeah. Well, we're
not
insisting
defending it.
we're insisting that a little boy envelop your tongue with his entire mouth. Yeah. But how long was that? Was it like 5 seconds too that it lasted? He's like, you can do it. It's
Man,
okay.
5 Mississippis. Like,
Yeah,
that's
5 minutes.
crazy. That-
Too many Mississippis. Whatever the amount, far too. There shouldn't have been even a miss. It's worth of time with a proposal like that. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh man, yeah, it's excited to meet you.
Good. So we met before, actually. We met in person. You mind if I say where? Is that
No,
okay?
not at all. Not at all.
So we met in Woodbridge.
Mm-hmm.
Lorenzo and I went up at the mic the same night you did. And
Yep.
Lorenzo wasn't on the lineup, but he did make an appearance. He did come to support. He brought me our shirts, our beautiful shirts that night. So
Yeah,
you'll
I saw
see.
y'all had some swag.
Yeah, you'll
man.
see me in that at every single mic from now until the end of time,
Nice.
because I get anxiety talking to people for the first time, and that kind of helps me break the ice when they see that, and they can come ask me about it,
Yeah.
and I don't have to want to break my neck to try to speak to someone.
Yeah.
So-
Can I say in like the nicest way,
yeah.
and not to like.
No, please.
I love how your anxiety feeds into your comedy.
Oh, really?
At least you know, from an outsider looking in. I don't know. I'm sorry. Can I cuss on this or no?
Absolutely, please.
I mean, like, you know, I don't know shit about shit. So like, I don't really.
Uh-huh.
We met and we talked, and you're lovely. I don't really know your background, but like, if you're saying you have anxiety, I like really adore, and I wish I had some of that myself. Honestly, I'm like almost envious that you have like that anxiety thing where like it just makes it so comfortable, like at least to a crowd, right? It's like the Napoleon Dynamite thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
You kind of just like, you want to root for the guy. You also realize, okay, if I'm with that guy,
Mm-hmm.
it's Napoleon Dynamite, not you. You realize like I'm the cooler than you, but not in like a weird power move way. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, I can relate because it's not like I'm trying to impress you, or vice versa. We just
Mhm.
are who we are.
Can I tell you something, though?
Mhm.
Truthfully, you are much cooler than I'll ever be. I mean,
No. No.
you have a nice job, I'm sure.
Oh man.
You can afford to live. You,
I don't know, man. You got the nice light, the cameras here, man. You got the
I'm
purple
so
lighting,
much
the
in
nice...
debt right now as a result of these bad decisions in this
Yeah.
room. But you, on the other hand, I feel like you got it going on. So you're from this area. You're from Northern Virginia,
Yeah,
right?
originally born and raised in Northern Virginia.
That's what's up.
First generation American.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I'm at the point where I've seen a lot of the states, and like this area of Virginia is not that bad, man. In comparison,
Yeah, no, I
like,
get. We could be
to the
in
country.
PG County. We could.
Yeah,
But we're
yeah,
not.
yeah. It could be across the river.
But we're not.
It could be in La Plata.
Mm. My word.
Man. Lorenzo, you from this area originally, or? I don't know if you can hear me.
Can you hear? I just want to see how long it takes for him to respond. For those of you listening,
I don't know why he was asking you.
Oh, okay, got you.
Oh, at least you can hear me though. That's good.
No, he said Lorenzo, so that actually that is me. Yeah, that is me.
It's the opposite day. Am I
It's
confused?
opposite day. So Christian, let me go first, and I'll say as Lorenzo that I was born and raised here, and we're in Stafford now. This is my home town. I wasn't born here, no, but I've been in Stafford or like the surrounding like Triangle area for I don't know, since I was like 3 or 4, something like that. So definitely raised here. I just like everyone else in the Quantico area, I hated it. I still hate it. There's nothing going on whatsoever. It's a terrible place, but like you said, it's nice, and there, you don't have to worry about losing your life at any moment. You don't. you can take solace in, I guess, like the relative safety of the area, and
that's true. It is in like this weird pocket. Like, and it's interesting geographically how like, I maybe grew up 20 miles from here north, and it's closer to the city, and it's just a different world in comparison to like a Stafford. And like,
can I tell you, it has nothing to do with geography so much as it has everything to do with ethnicity. If I could get that word out.
That's the accent.
I'm gonna try it like 3 more times. ethnicity. Yep, I think I can speak now. But no, I mean it's not so much how much more rural it gets, or but just if there are white people in the area, it tends to be without meth involved. Excuse me, without the involvement of
course, you need meth,
hard like black tar, heroin level drugs, street drugs. I mean, there's a Publix here, is what I'm trying to say.
And that feeds into the same answer though. Is that like, in comparison, a lot of other countries or a lot of other parts of the country are like very much like not this diverse. Like this area, like I realized it looking back, and it's like I grew up with like a lot of Middle Eastern people, a lot of Ethiopians, a lot of like European, South Americans, and it's like, okay, you're not getting that in like Arkansas.
Oh my gosh!
And like I've been through Arkansas. It ain't much. Talk about eventful. Like they wish they had a Publix, right?
For real. They sure do. All they have is fucking Buc-ee's or Busey's, however you say that shit. Yeah. I've refused to. I'm boycotting. I call it Busey's, with the beaver.
Yeah, of course.
You say of course. I've never been. I never will.
Oh yeah, no, I was lived in Texas a couple years.
So
yeah, they had the Buc-ee's everywhere, man.
Again, I call it Busey's just despite my friend who raves about it constantly. Not Lorenzo, but my only other black friend. He just gives it such high marks that I can't stand it, and he always buys the merch. He's got like 10 Busey hoodies, and he's always talking about the Bucky nuggets, the nuggets. I don't know what the deal is with those.
Isn't that interesting? Like people's fandom, like, and how that.
But he's so insufferable about it that I took a solemn vow. I swore
to never go. Not
just to never go, but to, if I happen to see one, or if one crops up in this area, I would stop its development at all costs. I would take up arms. You see that fake rifle in the back? Yeah. I'll get a real one. You better believe.
If it got constructed, you'd stop and take a pee on the side.
Yes, take a pee, maybe some gasoline, maybe a book of matches, maybe, I don't know, whatever it calls for. I have to stop it. It's like a disease.
By the way, this is alleged.
Yeah, all alleged.
Allegedly.
In Minecraft, of course. So, how about you? So, where you want to tell them where you're from, Lorenzo?
I'm from, I was born and raised in Salisbury, Maryland. All my life.
Which is crazy. I don't know if I introduced us as friends or cousins,
Mm-hmm.
but we suspect we might be related because both of our families, at least on our mom's sides,
Yeah.
on my mom's side, are from that same small town in Maryland.
Really?
There's only like a couple of families there, so
Wow.
the chances are we're related in some way. It's pretty wild that we would meet by chance at
Just
a
by
job
chance,
in
right?
Virginia, right? In Blacksburg, Virginia.
Yeah,
Neither of us
Virginia.
even going to tech, anything. It's crazy.
Huh.
Yeah.
So fate is a crazy thing that I don't believe in, but certainly this was
And you're
opportunity.
you're Latin, or I'm sorry.
I'm not. No. So
Majorly you're
I
and you're like racially ambiguous, and I
We're
was going
Dominican.
off your last
We're
name. Yeah.
both Dominican.
yeah, to the peril of my credit score, I'm half black.
Dominican.
Only to the
makes a lot
detriment
sense, though.
of most of renting homes and
Yeah.
escrow, all of it. I regret to admit that I am. No, I'm half black. My brother was downstairs on the couch.
Yeah,
He's
so-
he's got a different father, but my dad's a white guy, and it just somehow they popped out an El Salvadorian
Yeah.
Gay guy.
Like,
together.
you got the curls though, man. You got.
Oh yeah, I got
yeah,
the
something-
finger
some good
waves.
stuff,
I got it
man,
going on.
from both parts.
I have a joke I'm working on that I told it at Trustees. I'm white enough where the wind and shit
Mhm.
catches my hair and blows it around.
Yeah.
But I'm just black enough where if anything messes up my hair, it's just not gonna go back the same way. It's gonna have to stay that way for a while.
That's
So-
rich. Oh man, I like that.
Yeah. And I told that joke. I told it in reverse order the first time at Mara Finer's mic, Maddie and Eddie's in Crystal City. I told it the
Oh,
reverse
yeah,
way,
yeah.
like where I'm just black enough where the wind catches my hair and it won't go back the same. And then somebody gets up on after me, a black guy, and he goes, "I don't know if anybody told you, man, but the wind doesn't mess up black people's hair." All too, I don't know any black people worried about the wind, and I was like, no, I fucked it up. I fucked up the joke.
Man, that's and
Yeah.
you know what's funny about and I have two questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Like black people, like it's amazing. I grew up around a lot of black people, and it's
Mhm.
great at least for comedy because they'll like call you out if you're like not funny.
Yeah.
They'll like call you out if you don't make sense,
They will.
and like they're more outspoken than a lot of.
I want to say real
most
quick,
demographics
just
people. Yeah.
not to cut you off, to those of you to the white people listening, if you are, that is not a racist remark. That's 150% true. Black people are ruthless.
Yeah,
And, but,
As he I'd have called it out.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, you know that's why I like the
I'd be like,
Apollo.
Hold up now.
no, it's like the Apollo, they're just booing immediately,
Yeah,
throwing tomatoes, Jordans, everything that they can in their
see, I
reach.
love that though. I love that. Yeah,
That's applause. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's if they did exceptionally well.
yeah. No, I'm all for the tougher. You know, it was great in the Palma actually where we
Mhm.
met. There was a family there that it's a room that's there's a lot of comics who were
Yeah.
obviously going to be on mic who aren't on mic or there's their support. But there were pockets of just like normal restaurant goers,
Mhm.
and this family was there and they were celebrating. I can't tell you what.
Yeah.
And all black, and then they're applauding, they're supporting, but then they're also being like fair. They're like, okay, that didn't work, to whoever.
Mhm.
Obviously you killed.
Oh, please no.
And I go up and then I do my thing and I come down and like the guy, the dad,
Mhm.
comes out of his way and knuckle bumps me, gives me some, and that right there is all I need. I feel like I'm so new to it that like that thrill of like the man, good job, like
Mhm.
oh, you did good, oh man, like you can, and I was like, oh right, man, that feels nice, just because I'm new to the performing aspect of comedy.
For sure. Any amount of approval is great to get. It's like a rush, like that adrenaline you get from doing it enough. But then when you get off stage and somebody, commends you on it, that's a totally different rush you get. That's like, oh, it worked. Like all the work I put in or the lack thereof paid off, whatever the case may be. At least I affected somebody positively, and elicited the reaction. And Tom Segura, I don't know if you're familiar with him. I listened to a lot of his podcasts. He's always stood by this, that he doesn't care about anybody's approval as much as he cares about black guys' approval. When a black person in his opinion, when a black person tells you did well, that's because they mean that shit. They won't. They don't go out of their way to say some gay shit like you were funny. It's because they mean it. It's from the bottom of their, and that's obviously like a thin line. That's a cultural,
Yeah, I feel comfortable enough talking about it just because I'm Hispanic. I
was gonna ask what are you? What's your whole?
I'm full
makeup.
Salvadoran. Both of my parents.
Oh wow! So when I said El Salvadorian, about myself, that was just off.
Yeah, no, you threw the I in there too. Like that's how I know people aren't from El Salvador, because it's this magical I appears out of nowhere.
El Salvadoran. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Salvadoran.
That's good.
No,
I'll pocket that later.
I'm not a.
No, I need to know the right way to say it so that when I do, I can take the El Salvadoran guys home when they're convinced that they're not gonna fall for it if I fuck up.
Yeah, at the bar.
They're like, oh, hey, I papi. There's no I in there. Oh, okay, shit.
Hermosos.
Hermosa.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay.
My second thing was gonna be Maddie and Eddie's. That's one that's been on my list for a little bit. How is it?
It's fantastic. It's brand new. The lady who runs it, the girl who runs it, she's phenomenal. The thing that kicked all this off was I went to for me personally, I'll say I went to a workshop taught by Jessica Curson. Do you know Jessica Curson?
The name rings a bell.
I'll pull her up.
Local,
yeah. She's like a comic for real. Like
nice. All
the comedians know her, but nobody really seems to know her off the street.
I gotta say, I do like the comic community. Again, I'm just like so new to this that it's just been great to like have like I said earlier, shake babies, kiss hands. It's just been good to network and network makes it sound perverse, but it's like actually genuinely like talk to people and figure things out. Even if nothing comes of it, it was good to like bounce things off of or talk through some things, or it's been a welcoming community.
Definitely. Yeah. That was, so I'll get right to your point that you're talking about now, because that's, I totally and completely agree. The way things have been, I started on this journey. I say journey, I'm so fucking dramatic. I always wanted to do something like this. I didn't know how to break into it.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker, so I spent a lot of money to sign up for this course taught by a celebrity, but it was a nice little. It was like
Tom Segura.
No, so it was her. It was that lady.
Oh, okay.
I wish. I mean, that shit would be thousands of dollars because he's a fucking prick. I mean, like, just to like spit on us, he would make us pay $10,000 each. No, it was just I had gotten a ticket to see her. I had just started seeing shows in DC. That's something I'd never seen any comedy until just a few months ago. I'd never seen live comedy before. And seeing shows exposed me to the scene, so to speak. And when I bought a ticket to see her, she was doing a Hanukkah special event at the DC Improv. Bought that ticket as soon as I saw it because I fell in love with her on all the different podcasts I listened to, and I was just monitoring the website and like the ticket listings, and I saw that she added like a seminar before the show, like a few hours before the show I was going to see. So I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll do that. It was something like $50, for like an hour and a half, 2 hours of like one-on-one, like you sitting there in a space maybe like double the size of this, but still pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been to the DC Improv yet, but it's very,
no,
it's very, you know how it is. And it was maybe like 20 people signed up, so we were all right up at the front, and she's right there on the stage with her water and taking questions, and she gave her piece for about an hour, and then it was a Q&A for the rest, you know, for the latter hour. So it was really informative. She let us know a lot of great stuff. And what was I going to say? Oh, so Mara Finer was there. I didn't know her. I'd never seen her before.
Yeah.
And on my way out, Jessica was taking pictures with people, and I asked Mara to take my picture with Jessica, and she obliged and took my photo. And when I was hugging her in the picture, I told her, "You're going to be the reason I start this." Now I know, like, the barrier to entry isn't as high as I once thought it was.
Yeah.
And, like, thank you for, you know, helping me realize that.
Yeah.
And it was after that kicked this off. I started the Electric Palm was my first mic, because it was the closest one I could find besides Fredericksburg, and I didn't want to get like lynched or anything, so
yeah,
I certainly didn't want to go to Fredericksburg for my first time.
You go to Fredericksburg.
That would have been brutal. That would have just been awful. I think my first joke in Woodbridge was something like, I'm not Hispanic, and I have to lead with that in Woodbridge, of all places.
Woodbridge, it's that verse.
Woodbridge, yeah.
That's good. I liked your man, and it's something that maybe I'm just self-critical, but and Lorenzo, feel free to chime in, because you're a comic too, right? I have no idea you actually did comedy. I guess that night you were just supporting.
Yeah. I mean,
he just started. He started like a couple, like 3-4 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Nice.
A few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've only done 4 so far.
My gosh, yeah.
Dude, man, that's awesome. I'm just kind of at the precipice of this and coming at it from a different angle, so it's good to meet people who are like, in it and come at it from like a good intentions.
We're in the early, like, burgeoning stages of all this. Wouldn't you say, Lorenzo? Like, we have like little to no experience with comedy whatsoever. I say that in earnest. I mean, truly, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. But like you said, I mean, like, people are so unbelievably nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up for that one. What was I going to say, though? Oh, my gosh.
I will say you're really good. You could have fooled me. I thought you were...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, going back to the self-critical thing, I think sometimes I'm too wordy in my bits, and I feel like, if you remember your opening, let me know again. But it was like within 6 words, you kind of had a laugh, like something about whatever the joke you thought of at the bakery at Wegmans.
Oh yeah, that's fucking stupid.
It's less than 10 words, yeah, but you know, it already immediately draws a laugh. Like, I feel like sometimes my problem is I'm a little wordy. Like, I know my joke, I know how to get there. It's just finding the pockets of laughs.
Can I tell you, that's a new tactic I'm employing. So that's
really good.
That's the first time I deployed it. I was like, let me get a fucking dumb hick one-liner at the beginning, and that was just for that particular environment.
Like, it gets the crowd already like invested on your side, like wanting to laugh.
I was in that Wegmans in the upper floor. I don't know if you're familiar. You know, my dad used to take me there to do homework. So I texted him. I was like, I'm doing homework at the fucking Wegmans, writing dumb jokes, and that was the best one I could come up with.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm gonna pepper that in at the top. Reel people in. If I do, if I don't, I guess I'm gonna flop, because the rest of it is just gonna be storytelling. I mean, what did I do for the rest of that? I did like you. I told lengthier jokes that you have to be more invested in. You know, it wasn't all quick, quippy stuff. But if you get people on your side as early as possible, and this is something she was talking about, Jessica Curson. It's all about generosity, comedy. It's an economy of words. You know, you definitely, the more generous you are with the jokes and the laughter and getting people to ease into it, the more willing they will be to receive the rest of your act.
Yeah.
You understand? So if you get them on your side early on, even if it's by some cheap, you know, one-off means, then it's only gonna stand to do you a favor.
Yeah.
It's the cocky people who, you know, are like, I don't need the audience's approval. I don't need to do anything to make you like me. You should just like me from the get, because I'm up here on stay, or if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous game. You know, you're playing roulette like that, and you're gonna lose. There's at least 3 extra bullets in that in that chamber. You know, in that revolver. When you're doing that, because that's no way to win people over, especially in like a diverse environment like Woodbridge. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I have I've noticed, because I try to like do a little bit of crowd work and stuff, and just the different reactions based off of crowds and all that. But you're so right. It's good to like just start that way and kind of ease into it, and then, you know, I don't think you got too wordy. Like I feel like I'm definitely, that's like something I'm working on. But yeah, I think overall it's been great to like kind of see how other comedians tackle it, or how other comedians go about it.
Yeah.
And that's been like good homework too, speaking of, you know.
Definitely. I'm the same way. The last one I did last night, I think that's my 16th or 17th now. So I mean, I'm still like a beginner, but I'm not like totally a fish out of water anymore, so to speak.
Yeah.
But watching other people is a great learning device. Absolutely. Just seeing how, for me, it's seeing how people fail more than anything.
Yeah.
That is the greatest teacher to me, because then I get to go up there and not do the shit that they just did.
Yeah, it's being
or lean into
you
that.
can't
Yeah,
do
exactly.
that. And like, even if you do, I mean, you know, they say, I haven't bombed yet, knock on wood, but like they say you learn a lot in that respect. And to the learning thing, it was funny. I was working this special, and it's good to be an audience member too, right? Because that's what ends up happening a lot of times on these sets with the, especially these comedy specials. I've only done a couple, but they've been interesting. The opening act, like same thing, like you, like the first 10 words, he said something about how he just sweats when he's nervous. So like, if you look, don't say anything. And it's just like, okay, I'm you know, you imagine most people are there who've paid the ticket, who've bought the drink, they like wanna laugh, and so he just 10 words, right? Like I sweat a lot. If you're wondering, is it a lot? It's enough to mention. Like, and I was like, man, okay, all right, I'm here.
No, definitely.
That's self-deprecating, like, you know, a little intro.
Like last night I tried to do the same thing with a different joke. Here's the difference though, right? I went up first. I was the first person up there. Okay. Because I had to be out of there. I had an appointment, shall we say, after and that I had to make. That was in DC last night. Yes, the Cheers one I sent you.
Yeah.
She's going to be on the host of that. She's going to be here next week. I'm very excited. So I mean, you're the start of a new beginning for this podcast. It is insane. You're going to be our very first comedian guest. I'm pumped. But man, I started off last night at Fat Pete's Barbecue over in Cleveland Park. It's Cheers comedy by M. Fisk. So many Mara Finer, M. Fisk, so many Jewish F names. But holy shit.
Iron Bomb.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I started it off with a dumb fucking joke that I was like, this will get somebody. I hope it will. If I sell it right, I really hope, because
just need one.
And I went, I'll give you a quick one. Knock knock, and then I turned the mic over, and they went,
Who's there?
And I went, sorry, no, that's too personal. Next question. I pass. Nobody laughed.
Oh man.
Nobody laughed at all. They thought they were serious. They were like, "Oh, he doesn't want us to ask." Shit.
He's like, no, you're right. Like,
he was offended that we dared ask who's there.
Oh man.
And then I went into a brand new thing I thought of that same evening. I went into a Succession bit. I don't know if you watched that show, Succession.
Nice.
Nobody in the room had seen the show, so of course that flopped on arrival. The Succession bit.
Yeah.
I did awful. That's probably the second worst I've done so far. Was last night.
Man.
So I'm really glad you weren't there to see that, because I want to maintain your impression of me as long as possible.
Yeah, it's funny is I hit him up and I was planning to go, but he didn't hit me up till late.
Who?
Whoever runs that page.
So like I said, that's a lady. Her name's M.
Oh yeah,
Fisk.
so she does the same one. Okay, I thought she did. Okay.
What else do you think she does?
I thought she did the Maddie and Eddie's one.
No, so these are two different people. So
oh no, you're right.
Mara Finer does Maddie and Eddie's, and then this other girl, her name's M. Fisk. She runs Cheers Comedy, and they do mics. They do one dedicated mic every Monday. They're both on Mondays. I think that's how you could confuse them. Mm-hmm. I did the first time I did M's in DC. It was I did both in the same night, so you can line that up for yourself. Where
that would be...
you pick which one you want to do first, and you go from one to the other.
Right.
It'll probably be easier for you to start in Crystal City. You live in DC, right?
A little closer, like to Springfield.
Oh, so you start in DC and work your way back down. That's how I did it. The same way, sort of. So,
yeah, no, I'm excited. Yeah, I signed up for it, and then she hit me up like. I think the event started at 8:30. I think she hit me up like at 8:30, and I was like, "Oh man, okay, I can't make it this time." But that's oh man, I'm sure everyone's their worst critic. Like, no, I'm sure you did all right.
That one, I'm just fucking out here advertising for these people. She better,
you gotta get the.
She better come on here and give me a massage next week for how well I've done plugging her shit. No, with that and a lot of them, there are walk-in openings and. There were 10 like walk-in spots when I got there. So if you ever feel that you like want to be on something and you can stand to be there when it starts, just go, because chances are all these people are busy and double book or get lazy and don't want to come out. There's usually going to be like 1 or 2 spots, and you'll be surprised by how few people actually like attend these looking for like on the spot openings like that. So if you do go to one and as an audience member, go introduce yourself to the host, tell them you're a comic, and that if they have a vacancy that you'd like to fill it.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude,
everyone is super nice. Yeah. I'm telling you to do that. I will never do that ever. That's
like the social norms.
No, I'm so fucking bad at talking to people.
Man.
I'm so bad at it. And I'm not an anxious person, and like I can do this, or I could be on a stage and talk and run my mouth until it falls off. But when it comes to like interrupting people in the middle of their conversations, if I see somebody like talking, or if they're like drinking something, I'm like, well, let me wait for them to finish their drink first. Or like, I don't know what goes through my head that I think people are unapproachable at all times. But
no, it's definitely I was with a Peruvian friend earlier, and it just was part of the thing, right? Where we just talk over each other. Like whoever's the loudest kind of gets the floor, and it isn't like a disrespect thing. It just kind of is like how conversation goes. Yeah. But I can see how that's like off-putting, like to somebody who's not from that, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, man, it's good to know that I can just go up and talk to people, right? Because I'm maybe not as socially anxious as you, but I was like, I get a little nervous. Well, how would you describe you and Lorenzo? How would you describe your styles? Like, what are you?
Lorenzo, Christian, I'll let you go first.
Thank you, Lorenzo. I appreciate it. Stupid. I feel like my style.
That's a style right there. Yeah, to smile, that big.
It's such a loaded question, though, right?
That big. I date white women, toothy smile. Well. That's a reference to an earlier thing. I'm gonna keep bringing that back. So one of his friends told him that his teeth are so white that it like telegraphs that he only dates white women somehow. That
you do have nice teeth, man. You have nice
and apparently that means.
And what are you eating? DQ? That's very white girly. That's very like that's where you take Rebecca type of date.
I named them one Candace, one's Kelly, one's fucking Casey.
Oh man! Oh, all good jokes have a little truth in them. Is that your
just
preference?
Just a tad.
All the wisdom teeth were named Karen, so I took them bitches out.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. Oh man, if you led with that, see, that could be your 10 words or less intro.
Just lean into it. But no, so I'm just gonna cut you off. Fuck. I mean, like I feel like you win people over just because of how like infectious your laughter and your smile and your whole. You're really charming, on stage. Like, and whatever you're saying, people are lasered in on it because you look like you're engaged in there to tell it. So, but how would you describe yourself? That's just my impression.
I just be chilling, son.
Yeah.
Saying,
See, but we get behind that.
Oh man,
For some reason, that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
love that.
that's just you.
Go. Y'all are cute. No.
Oh, please. He called me Poppy earlier, and I said, "Well, you might not want to say that. I don't know if you that has a different connotation to a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
there is certain implications. Like, it's cool that you want to speak Spanish or whatever, but maybe there are other words. With me, my dynamic, I don't use anxiety on stage or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I don't take any like medication. I'm not like medicated anxious. Like when I say anxiety, I just mean like I'm not the type of person to go up to somebody and introduce myself typically. I hang back, I wait for, an opening naturally, like if we both happen to bump into each other or somehow interact.
Was that pre-pandemic? Or is that because of the
This is
pandemic?
my
Or is it
whole
just who
that's
you
just
are,
me.
your makeup, your DNA?
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know what it is. If it's like a politeness thing, I just don't like
How does that
walking up to
translate with
people.
like the girls, or I'm assuming, but
Yeah, or the
You
lady
know.
boys.
Yeah.
I've
don't the Dalai Lama. In
oh my God, yeah.
yeah, I do get people to suck on my tongue.
Mhm.
Believe it or not,
Yeah.
I do. I do pretty well
Yeah.
with the right age groups.
Lorenzo, you
Yeah, I
know
was about to say they're
Candace
over
with,
the age of consent,
with
correct?
Regina.
They're
No.
fucking 18 plus.
Oh, I'm supposed to have somebody else on. So here's what happened. Can I tell you real quick? And then I'll get back to how people suck on my mouth parts.
Oh my fucking God, yo.
You don't have to be out of here at any certain time. Do you?
No. I'm here to hang.
You're here to hang. I mean, certainly don't want to keep you, but I'm going to try to set this up to where we can have like two people at once. I think that'll be just as effective, and you'll get to meet somebody who was at the same mic. You'll recognize them.
Okay.
So let me call her now and see if I can get through. You guys just shoot the shit, chat for a little bit. Can you? I'm trusting you, Lorenzo. Can you handle this? Is this too much responsibility?
Absolutely, Lorenzo. I can do it.
I mean, Christian, fuck, I forgot your name. How could I do? Okay, I'll be right back.
You in charge of the merch then? Have you been doing the merch?
The merch?
Yeah, I saw you had the shirts at the Palm.
Yeah. I was gonna tell you, if you want a shirt, you know what I'm saying, just let me know. We'll come through with the shirts. Let one of us know. We'll get you one.
I
What
got
size
you.
wear?
Appreciate it. Oh man, I'm like, I've lost a couple LBs, man. So I'm hoping to squeeze into an L here soon. But I was normally an XL.
Hey, son, we gonna get you an L because I got faith in you.
Thank you. No, I'm working at it, man. I've been like, working out pretty heavy. But yeah, I saw the merch, man. So you guys like have a guide? You guys just order some stuff? Like, what was that? Like,
Look,
is that the next step?
I thought of that like, I think it was a Friday. It was a Friday afternoon. I thought of it randomly,
Mm-hmm.
and I made them because we just featured on someone else's podcast a comment I met down here, and so I wanted to get shirts so we could present ourselves, represent ourselves on
Yeah,
there.
that's
So I
awesome.
just randomly thought of it. I went and got them. I sent Christian the pictures. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get this. What do you think?" And he was like, "Hey, give me one." And now I'm like, "Say less."
That's awesome, dude.
I'll probably have it here next week.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That's really, dude. That's really awesome, man. Dude, that's awesome.
What you want yours to say? It'll say LNC podcast, but like mine has my name. Christian has, both names. And then what you want yours to say? You want like your name or what you want?
Yeah, my name's good, man. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good, dude.
I'm
That's
for real.
awesome.
I'm gonna bring this shit. I'm not playing.
Appreciate it, dude. No, I'll be right. Dude, can't wait.
Gotta rep us.
Heck yeah. What so is that the goal? Like with like the podcast? Like, what are you guys hoping to do with it, or just kind of make it grow, elevate?
I guess we're trying to grow with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Real talk is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, this has been nice. Just chopping it up and just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, it's so fresh, like straight out the produce
Yeah.
section, you know.
Yeah. What do you guys normally get into? I don't know. He was telling me you guys like read articles and stuff, and I've just been kind
Yeah,
of blabbermouthing about the intros and stuff.
yeah. Sometimes we like we'll like read articles or like
Hmm.
watch videos or stuff. But really, like, 'cause for the longest, we would just show up and just talk.
Yeah.
We just show up and just like we might write down like certain ideas we want to talk about, but for the most part, we just get on here and talk. And then sometimes we have like a Google Docs stock, and
Hmm.
that both of us have access to. And usually, I've started trying to like add to it, so like we have something we could go off if we can't think of something. But half the time, we don't even touch anything on there.
Okay. That's awesome
We
though.
just show
Yeah.
up and just talk.
That's a lot better, man. I feel like sometimes they're like over engineered or over planned, and it's good just to like have like that barbershop talk, right? Like that, just chopping it
Exactly.
up, just
Yeah.
kind of like that's awesome, dude. Like
But we already know who the hottest rappers are, so you know what I'm saying? That discussion's dead.
You said what?
yeah.
What'd you
Maybe
say?
we the last thing I said was we already know who the hottest rappers are.
Okay.
Yeah, son. Jerquelius Cole and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
Jake.
those would be the top three, right?
Yeah. It's not racist when you add Elias or Quellius to the end of people's names. So I do envy you there. It's like half racist when I do it.
Is it reverse? If you like, how would you say Eminem?
It's a little
How
bit
would you say? Yeah, how would you say Eminem?
Eminem.
I think it's just Marshall. I think Marshall does it.
Real talk.
That'll
Yeah.
suffice. Yeah. So
Marshall. Real talk. That is what I usually call him, but you caught me on a blank. I was like, you listen to Marshall. Yeah, I know you listen to Marshall. How you feel about Marshall?
oh yeah, you guys keep talking. I know.
You know what I do like? I like Royce the 5'9".
Who's that?
He's
Yo,
on.
son,
Yeah.
Royce the 5'9"
Yeah.
is fire.
Yeah.
I think Eminem taught him how to rap, but that's crazy. My man's getting it.
His solo albums have been great. What was the one? The Book of Ryan. The Book of Ryan might be classic, man. It might be a modern day classic. It's really
That
good and
man,
solid.
his
And
whole flow is fire.
yeah, it's so interesting to me how he didn't get nearly the amount of acclaim. Being in like a duo group with Eminem and like very much holding his own and contributing. Uh, but no, like it's his music has been insane, dude. It's been, and I think he's still on Shady Records.
His features are killer too. Like
Yeah.
you listen to Toby and Wee.
Yeah. I'm bad with like song names sometimes, but like yeah. I think I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Any feature Toby has is fuego, and he has Voice of 5'9" on a few features, and that man's
Mhm.
just
Just
ooh,
going.
ooh.
It's funny. It's like it's how much that feeds into like at least like some part of the comedy, right? Like the confidence, the braggadociousness, the getting up on stage and being confident. Like like hip hop a lot of times is just like saying slick shit cool, right? And that's part of being, I don't know, at least for me, like that 5 minutes of being comfortable and like getting up on stage or like however long it is. And kind of like Frank Abagnale and like Catch Me If You Can, right? Like just that those couple moments of confidence just to like kind of, and I feel like hip hop for me at least anyway has helped with that because it's like, okay, I know what to say, I know how to say it, I know what like sounds not in like a fake pretentious way, but in like a I feel comfortable
Like
now, I feel confident type of
like
way.
a confidence boost, but
Hmm.
still you.
Yeah. You feel the same?
That interview you.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, no. I haven't been going to nearly as many shows this year so far, but I'm hoping to catch a couple
What the hell?
before the end of the year.
What as far as watching or like performing?
Yeah, well no, I try to go to shows. I think last year I think I saw Pusher last year. I saw
Ooh,
yeah, that concert was crazy. Oh, I saw Griselda last year too. That was really nice.
I
Um
want to start going to concerts. I wanted to go to, the Dreamville one.
Yeah, yeah, and up in Raleigh.
Is that this weekend? When is that?
I think that may have already passed, or if it's a 420
Oh,
weekend.
you're right.
I don't know. It was weird. Like it was canceled one year because of COVID, and then, but their
Yeah.
lineups are always great, man. And it's really festival season. I've been hoping to get into like something in the water would be good this year. They have a good lineup.
I want to go to stuff, but like, I think it's mostly money that prevents me.
Hmm. There's ways of going about it, man. I don't know, like in a very budget friendly way. Like I know sometimes like the volunteers, like they'll still see the shows or whatever, or if you're like working it, you can see it. But like if you pay for the ticket, you can keep it relatively cheap. Like at least in Raleigh or like cities like that. Um, I've definitely done like the camping out and like
Oh,
eating dollar store shit.
yo, me and
Just
Marvin about to make up. We about to see something. We about to be out there. Yeah.
hell yeah, hell yeah.
So, the real thing was, I didn't have no one to go with me because I could have got high ticket. I wanted to get like their highest joint.
Hmm.
I think it was like 1,500 for real, but the one under it was like 600 or whatever.
Yeah,
I'd have got that joint, but like I ain't had nobody else like a match
and that
ticket,
thing,
and
yeah,
I ain't want to go
group.
by myself.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
group would be like, cause even if you're like down bad, at least you're down bad together,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like that's a
yeah.
very big part of like festival
It's,
culture. Like we're all eating
it's so,
tuna from the can.
yes, bro. Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys are talking about this together because I have no interest
Yo,
in going to festivals. Going to like, I barely like going to concerts. I'll be real with you. Like, comedy is a stretch for me. Going to these clubs and stuff
Yeah.
is like that's pushing it for me. Like I've only been clubbing maybe like twice, three times in
Hmm.
all my life.
Yeah.
23 years on this earth. I don't. It's something about everybody sweating and drinking,
Yeah.
and there's
What's your normal? Like, what do you,
this.
this? Okay.
Yeah, like you walked in, there's jazz music playing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like a
That's a vibe though.
58-year-old woman
Not the
in
cat.
an El Salvadoran uh guy's body. I used to have two cats, so I
Oh
mean,
man.
oh my
not a
God.
far cry from what I was just explaining. Shit. I mean,
So, and how do you like get your material? Because like I feel like a lot of a good chunk of my not of like my comedy is just from being out in the world, and then like
let's keep that.
something funny happens, and I just mull it over, and a bit forms, and
Mhm.
like is that how do you go about that? Like, what's your process in that respect?
For me, it helps that I listen to a lot of podcasts and kind of I keep up with stuff as best I can, not really giving a shit about it.
Yeah.
I still keep up with it. Like the Dalai Lama thing, for instance. That's something I'll never learn how to pronounce right. Dalai Lama. I hope is it like Dolly Parton, but there's an animal involvement.
Reality.
Yeah, bestiality. I'm sure he gets up to some
I was
crazy
about to
shit.
say,
I'm
could
sure.
you imagine?
We
Which is
gotta.
worse? Which is worse?
I'm
Which is worse?
I'm sure with all that tongue action, there's an alpaca involved. It's in
It
some
spits in his
capacity.
mouth and shit. Oh, bro.
Oh
Yo.
fuck! That's why they call him Llama. Now we get it because
Stop. Oh, shit,
because of
boy.
that tongue action. God damn.
I hope that's where it ends.
Yeah.
Um,
It isn't. Not he. I just I listen to stuff. I keep up, and then if there's like a cultural phenomenon of some kind that I've heard about that I'm loosely following, I'll try to relate it to myself in
Yeah.
some way. And like you said, the best jokes come from a true place. And I was saying that on the other podcast we were just on. I mean, like the true stuff. If you can find a nice story that's yours 100%, and you can figure out a way to tell it, that's golden. Not only because it's more convincing
Mhm.
to the audience, but because no one else can match it. No one else can can replicate that for what it is. I mean, the
it's your
chances are
unique
slim.
perspective. It's your
It's
world.
your unique perspective. That's yours. You own that. Nobody can
Yeah.
steal it. You can't get accused of stealing it.
Mhm.
I will say though, there is this weird, not only parallel thought that goes on
Mhm.
at these mics, but I found personally, we were talking about Mara Finer, that there's actually like parallel reality that you'll run into sometimes. Like I'm a gay guy who's born of a gay father,
Mhm.
right? And then my mom is hetero,
Mhm.
but they obviously, like, they had sex to create me
Yeah.
and then split off after that, right? And I was like going to town, writing all these jokes about, okay, me and my gay dad, you know, him taking me to Green Lantern and all these gay clubs that I never would have imagined being in, you know, my dad and all his gay friends and people, you know. And before I even get to do any of this shit, I see Mara at the Comedy Loft trying new things out. I went to an open mic with a couple friends.
Yeah.
And there she is up there talking about her gay dad and all his gay friends and, you know, all the brunches they go to and and how him being gay must have made her a lesbian or bi at some point. You know, all the shit I'm already like working on writing, she's up there workshopping. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to rip off this this
we're more alike
girl.
than we are different.
Yeah, I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, like two totally different people on at face value, but I mean, very, very similar upbringings. It's really eerie almost. So you never know exactly, like what somebody else, how similar someone is to you.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm sorry I brought you to tears with that.
No.
Yeah, I know, that was really heartfelt.
So what?
Oh my god.
You being more in tune then, because I'm a little older, so like I remember a world without social media, and it was great. And like I'm not.
Oh, stop it! You're like 5 years older than me. Shut the fuck up.
But no, you know, like, I personally just never really been on it like that. So it's like,
yeah,
to me, and I have a couple of myself, but like I wanted to ask you, what's a trend or what's something that happened in culture that like we missed on, like that was really funny and just kind of left and no one really talked about, and like what was something that we talked about too much and that was too funny and like maybe got irritating after a while.
I mean, you say the second thing. I mean, what comes to mind immediately is Trump. Comes to mind immediately. Like the people just beat the shit out of Trump over and over again. And like, we get it. He's like not good. He's a net negative.
Not a good human being.
if I may, you know, like I can take a hard stance here.
Bad guy.
Bad guy. Good. But then everyone's got a Trump. I've got a Trump impression. You know, like everybody does it. They beat the shit out of this this guy, and it just makes him stronger. And I feel like shit. At a certain point, we just have to drop it. We just have to drop him and move on, because that's what he wants. He's a fame whore. He's an attention slut.
Trump's funnier than all of us combined, though.
He's only funny because we're laughing at him, you know?
Yeah.
Take a step back and just like leave it alone. And that's all Rachel Maddow wants to do, and all, you know, Morning Joe and Mika want to do is sit back
and palm and then stand up, and he was like, it was the best steak ever, possibly the best steak ever. We'd fucking die laughing.
Well, yeah, because it's an ex-president at the Electric Palm. The juxtaposition in and of itself is hilarious. Like seeing him at that UFC fight a couple nights ago was hilarious. You know,
that was pretty freaking
just
hilarious.
Seeing him in places he doesn't belong as the former president of the United States is hilarious. And the fact that we all keep, you know, entertaining this, it's feeding into his media machine, what he wants to, the buzz he wants to generate for himself. Anyway, so that's my example of something that people keep harping on, but something that I feel like got past. I mean, like that train derailment came and went, right? I mean, shit. How crazy is that? I mean, fucking all
one of those though where like the law won't let it slide. Like there's so many law organizations, lawyers now that are like taking action, that are so many. Yeah, that was definitely a drop the ball, to put it lightly. That's a
class action lawsuit because there's going to be so many families with the exact medical problems. It's just a shame that it has to wait that long. It has to wait for those things to foment and develop. I think just coughing a little bit or feeling aches and pains right now isn't enough to really bring the CSX or whatever the
Gonna be a
fucking.
lot of those commercials, right? Like,
Yeah,
if 10 years ago you got
exactly. It's going to take a decade before these people get their, you know, what's the word? They get
yeah,
compensation, whatever, you know.
and of course it got a little serious, but here I am thinking like, why was I expecting Trump to wear anything but a suit at the UFC fight? Like, he's wearing a suit, and that's really funny to me. And I'm like, everyone else here is wearing like Ed Hardy,
Yeah.
like Eddie Bauer.
That just says like that's just the crumbling
tap
of our
out.
society.
Yeah.
That's just
And then even Dana, even the UFC president isn't wearing a suit. And you turn and there's freaking Don.
no. That's truly that's just our society crumbling and not, like the new formal wear is homeless chic. That's like, you know, like I wear sweatpants now. I swore I would never wear sweatpants. The same time I swore I'd burn down every Bucky Busey's in sight. I took an oath and I said I'd never wear sweatpants in public. That's disgusting. That's like that. What is trashier than that? Than telling people you're better than a belt. So it's okay to let people know how small your dick is at all times. You know, I really have no interest in, or didn't until my mom, bless her heart, I think she thought she had a girl because she bought me Lululemon, like a Lululemon like tracksuit.
Oh, that's cute. Hey, those are pricey too. You better,
It's fucking expensive as hell.
Give it up for mom.
I thought it would be rude to return it and just take the money.
You take a gift receipt.
So, yeah, there was a gift receipt and everything. I was like, I need $250. I might.
Auntie left that because he left that for you.
Can I ask though, Christian? Can I ask?
Yes,
Is it like father, like son? Like, did you try out girls for a while and then?
Yeah. I mean, I say to my close friends that I'm bi, truly I'm bi.
Okay.
Like, I am attracted to women. I do understand the attraction. I've never slept with a woman. They've never had the privilege. Let me go to Lorenzo.
Your
He's
body, your
laughing.
temple, queen. Your body, your
Yeah.
temple.
Exactly. I mean, they can't get this if they tried, or at least they haven't been able to yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I definitely see the appeal. Sorry, our second guest of the evening. This is a first. We've never had not nary one, but yet two guests
There you go.
in the same night. This is insane. This is like, hold on, may I? Hold on. We have music. This is a breaking event, so I'll play the breaking news music just because I take any excuse I can to play the music that I made for this dumb shit. Thank you. He does a little dance every time. That's his go-to, the Cupid shuffle or whatever, the Cupid seat shuffle. Okay, so we're gonna invite this person in here. I'm not sure how involved this is gonna be, so if we can stop down for just 2 seconds, or if you guys can just again shoot the shit for a little bit. I have to take Lorenzo off the stream screen, but you guys can talk. But I'm gonna add them to the server real quick. They're gonna be remote. They were gonna be here, but this person, they ride a bike and they live in, I want to say Arlington or DC, so that was obviously not an option.
Yeah.
So give me a second. You guys go ahead. What were you talking about?
Did you have a current event thing that happened that people talked about too much or not enough, Renzo?
Do I have a current event thing? I'm trying to think.
I'm so bad at everything. Like,
Do
I'm
people
so
talk
challenged.
about Ukraine enough? I don't know. How long's that war been going on?
I think they covered it okay. At least in the beginning they really did. I guess like
Yeah.
it's more surprising that they like have been kind of standing ground. I feel like there'd be a lot more news if they got like taken over.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're like actually, I don't know. I don't know. What
They
do I
got
know?
like a little break or something. They were working on a break or something.
Yeah, I had an interesting conversation with a friend who was like, a lot of this technology that the allied countries of Ukraine are giving them are, you know, things that can only be manned by citizens of the country, right? So like, is that now an act of war? Like I have, just because we're in America, right? Like I have American citizens manning these unmanned drones, that are, you know, effectively fighting against Russia. Does that mean that now America is in this war? Type of thing?
Damn.
I don't know.
And a technicality, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
And that might not be true,
Damn,
but that's what I heard.
it's like a tag team battle, and it's like, hey, I'm not gonna hop in right now, but I'm gonna throw you the chair. Go hit him with the chair. You know what I'm saying? See if you can win or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, okay. I had one, and I was waiting on Christian, but no, this might be funnier, just us two. This was a couple years back. Something that I don't think I talked about enough. The crate challenge. Do you remember the crate challenge?
Oh, the milk crate shit.
Yeah, the milk crate challenge.
Yeah.
I feel like that was so funny that it should have like stayed for a good year.
Lorenzo, go to the server. We're not even in the server right now, so go to the LNC Podcast General channel. I'll meet you there. But we'll pick up. Yeah. So the milk crate shit. That's what I live for. Those are the trends that I feel like were invented for me to enjoy, because I'll never do that shit. But I sure as hell will like sit back and just scroll on World Star and watch all these people break their bodies.
Just like
yeah.
I might really break this down. Like I might really mathematically like you have these milk crates that have just been there forever. Right?
Yeah.
There wasn't like we got a mass shipment of milk crates and then all thought about doing this. It's just they've always been there. A group of people just got to thinking. And next thing you know, it's just like it becomes this thing that's like a challenge, but in the real sense of the word, like people really wanted to do it because in hindsight, it doesn't seem that hard to do. Yeah, it's just like up down, right? Mm-hmm. But then executing it is when you get like the gold, right? Like people breaking their backs, people.
Yeah, I mean it's the same like as AFV, the whole America's Funniest Home Videos. The objective is to do something that is stupid. Yeah. In the hopes that you'll create a magical product, and maybe there's a prize for doing it successfully too.
It's just the prize, it's just bragging rights. Man.
The bragging rights of doing it successfully, but obviously the only reason why there's onlookers is because there's potential for hazard or potential for
But it's interesting is that you're completely right. It got popular because people would hurt themselves initially, but then it was almost like more impressive to see somebody do it, and then to see somebody do it like with a handicap, like some girl did it in heels. Some guy did it smoking like a hookah. And it's like, man.
Let's pull that up. That's going to be the first thing I pull up is the milk challenge.
Yeah, you got it, man. Oh, we should still be talking about it today. Yeah. Like, that is how funny that is.
I will say I'm worried about pulling up videos now that we're going to have two people calling. Yeah. Well, so my computer has a tendency to crash.
Of course.
And I think that would be too much of a challenge, of a milk crate challenge to like pull up a shit ton of windows right now. But I know exactly what you're talking. I think we lost Lorenzo. Are you there, Lorenzo? Can you hear us?
I'm back.
Oh,
I'm here.
Holy shit! Hold on, you're like super loud for no reason. Say something.
Hello.
And turn your camera on if you could as well. Your camera. What changed?
Let me get it.
Are you using a different mic?
Yes, boy. I switched to my phone.
Oh, well, duh. That was holy shit. I was like, I have you at the same levels that I had before. Holy shit. What the fuck happened that you're so loud? What happened to your...
Well, no, because my camera was off anyway.
What happened to your computer?
I turned it off while I get mobile.
Why? Oh, yeah. That's right. He's got to drive, so... Oh, we might be able to pull up the milk crate shit because he's gonna leave, and what he thinks he's gonna be able to do is drive and continue the podcast. But what I think is gonna happen is there's gonna be too much background noise, as there will be when one drives, and I'm gonna have to kick him from the server, at least temporarily. That's what I surmise will happen.
Oh my God.
Oh man. How unfortunate.
So we'll see how successful this is in a moment.
I'll be there in spirit.
Let me call this person. May I call you? This is
I was confused.
fantastic.
I thought they was coming.
No, they are. And they go by they, them as well, I will say now. I'm not a pronoun stickler myself, but I do like to, accommodate.
I like to come correct.
Okay.
What's their
I
name?
was on
So
my
this is
pronoun game before
Jamie Mack.
pronouns,
I'm not
right?
sure if you
Oh yeah,
if
Jamie,
you remember
yeah.
Jamie.
Mhm.
Oh boy. Let's see. Oh shit. Here we go. This is I'm
Are they
doing the
here?
milk crate challenge right now, just trying to string all of this together in the moment. We've been going an hour now. Has it felt like an hour to you?
Nice. No.
Okay, good.
Some ways yes, some ways no.
Hey Jamie.
It's flowing
I got
smooth.
good. I got Jamie Mack to the audience. We've got Jamie Mack here on the line. We're gonna try to get them into the server here. So we've done all the heavy lifting now. I've added you as a friend. All I need you to do is accept the server invite. It should be somewhere in your notifications within the app. Will you be using your phone?
No, I'm going to use my computer.
Okay, so on your computer, go into your, I believe it's invites. I'm not sure how to navigate this myself because I pretend that I'm cooler is what you said. It was so funny. You texted me. You said, "I'm sorry, Christian. I pretended to be cool and then I knew how to work Discord, but I don't know how to join." I'm the same way. I'm the exact same. Except I spent $9,000 to get all this equipment that I don't know how to use.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it says I joined.
okay. So now that you've joined,
The link above that, do I click that? Is that...
so yeah, click that link, and now that you've joined, do you see the server off in the left column with like this? It should be like a little circle with the letters L and C in it. Click on that, and then do you see in another column voice channels?
I see tech channel.
Do you see general anywhere? General under voice channels? So click on general, but under the voice channels drop down. Yeah. This is not your fault, Jamie. I made this decision, but this is going to be riveting stuff for the audience to listen for their listening pleasure. Just the troubleshooting and setting this.
Earlier today, I don't know how old you are. Are your parents still alive? That's a bad question.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have so much fun if that's how we're starting things. I'm so excited. Yes, unfortunately, I mean they are alive.
They are. I do.
I live with one of them. That's the unfortunate part. Not that they're alive or not. The sad thing is I live with one of them still. So,
I thought it was unfortunate because you'll never have the chance to be Batman.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So it says something that says server boost, invite people.
So can you point me at your computer so I can see what you're seeing? All right. So you're in there. Man, that is hard to decipher. See, I don't know what I'm doing either. Can you enlarge that window possibly? Can you blow it up for me?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Oh, I think what it is. I see what it is. Hold on. Give me just 1 second. I know exactly what it is. Oh my gosh. I'm so good at my job. I love it. We have in
You're
the
doing
room
a good job,
right now.
Lorenzo. Proud of you.
I'll hand you off to Marvin, who I don't know if you.
I didn't know all these. We're lucky that these tabs are all nice and they're usually filled with more colorful things up there.
Yeah.
That was screen would get that.
I'm so bad at this. I really it's unbelievable how terrible I am at
If you
figuring
want,
this.
I can try to join with my phone.
No, the problem is I have to promote you in Discord to be able to join, and I don't know how to even find you in the pullout. I'm really if you think you're struggling, I'm crippled. I'm really just
I'm struggling over other things, but we'll get through this. This will be it.
okay, good. Oh my word. I've never even bombed this hard on stage. I'm breaking out in a flop sweat.
I did not know what you were going to say after bomb. I was like, where is she?
Do you know? Are you familiar with Discord, Marvin? I know you said you don't use tech.
No, I'm not like a big gamer, but yeah, I know Discord a little bit. But
Right.
Oh wait, I think I got it. Hold on.
I have faith in you, Jamie.
Oh my gosh.
Lorenzo, where are you driving off to?
I gotta
Just
meet
give me-
somebody.
Well,
I have a.
I'm gonna hang up and just give me 5 minutes.
Go for it. I have to.
Word.
Yep. I have to promote you first, and then you'll be able
The
to join the voice
sneaky link.
channel. So give me just one moment. Okay, but yep.
Nah, I had plans about a week ago, and I definitely want to do the podcast because podcast is life. But I also have these already pre-plans, and I was like, I'm not gonna cancel them. I'm gonna do both because that's unfair to the other parties, you know.
Yeah. So this isn't
your
a sneaky
boys
link
out there.
that you're going for?
Hey,
Yeah, I should be
hey,
asking
let me-
these
let me
questions.
see-
Truly, I haven't
let
been
me tell
tough
you
enough.
something.
9:30 on a Tuesday.
What's the you know the
There's only but so much.
you know the what's the base word of sneaky link?
Base word of sneaky link.
We fucking did
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Finally
what's
found
the
shit.
the prefix? What's the adjective of a sneaky link?
To sneak? Like what are you talking about? Like not
Oh,
the verb. What are you-
not blast it on the internet.
Oh, very true, very true. Well, I was taking a shot in the dark. I had no idea if I was coming correct or if I was right. I was merely
Oh, shit.
So here's what I thought was
Nah,
happening.
theory.
No, can I tell you what I thought he was going to go do? What he told me, and
What?
forgive me if I conflated two things, but he told me he's going to go see his mother. So
That's
did you
code.
just outright
That's
lie
always
to me?
code.
Outright, like just straight up. I tell you when I'm getting
I
my
would-
shit handled. You can't just come clean.
I would never do that. See,
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Okay.
meet. I'm just
Shut the
look,
fuck up. Just shut up, because we
I'm
have
just-
a real person here, somebody I can trust, and I've only known them
Oh my
for
goodness.
a couple months now. Here's my supposed to be family. I can't even trust you. My goodness, I feel so betrayed.
look, I didn't even say
Can you
that's
turn
what
your
I'm doing.
camera
I'm
on
just
at
going,
least, Lorenzo? Good. Like pretend like
I
you
got you.
have pride
I'm
in the
just-
show.
I'm just going out real quick. I just taking a drive, a late night drive.
Oh my goodness, we have finally here. I figured it out. It's no fault of theirs. I had to promote them to guest status to be able to join the voice channel here, but we have
Ooh,
buffering is soon to be. Jamie Mack, a very funny comedian, local DMV comedian I've met several times in Woodbridge. Very marvelous act indeed. If you do happen to catch them, very excited to speak.
mad
soon.
funny, son. Mad funny.
Mad funny.
Yeah, I really enjoyed their bits too.
Good. We'll see if you two recognize each other. I'm not sure. There we go. Hey,
Hello.
I'm off
What's that,
camera for you, but the podcast can see me more often than not. So have no fear. I'll be seen. But you guys are what's more important.
Can we hear you?
Can we hear you? Is your mic enabled? We can't hear you quite yet. Yep. So you go ahead and work on that. But in the meantime, can I tell you, conventionally, we'll do as you and I did at the start. I would sit down and set all this up in advance. And I didn't do that with this, and this is what you're seeing and listening to at this point. I'll speak directly to the audience. Is what it's like in the lead up to recording. I'm sure it's engaging and entertaining, but this is, and if you ever want like a BTS style product, this is as good as it gets, and this is free.
Oh my
So
God.
really what I'm saying is you should be thanking me, because this is behind the scenes, grade A content for you, setting up cameras and audio. We can't hear you quite yet,
Yeah.
Jamie. If you are
Hi,
trying,
Jamie.
we can't hear you quite yet.
Lorenzo, make sure you stretch, drink some water.
Yeah. My co-host down there, Lorenzo, on the bottom, he told me he was visiting his mother this evening. I come to find out his mother is a woman caller that he, for some reason, was embarrassed to inform me about.
I wasn't embarrassed.
Although I
just,
do fancy the idea of you having sex with your mother tonight and being embarrassed about
well,
that.
that's-
Might have been
we don't be doing
a
we don't do
prospect.
that. That's not
The two
that's
of
not
you
what we do in my
getting wet and
community.
wild.
Was it Salisbury?
We've had, it sure is Salisbury
don't-
steak
we
of the
don't-
time.
We don't do that in the berry. Well,
Uh-huh.
I don't
In the
know.
berry. Is that what you
I
call
don't do
Salisbury?
that,
In the
so-
berry?
That's what people call it from
That's
here.
so
We call it
funny.
the berry.
The berry.
The
The
bear.
berry.
Yeah.
The berry. I'm now here in the berry. I'll bury you in the berry.
Oh, we
Can
can
you
hear
all
you.
hear me now?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
All right.
Oh my
I
word.
I
Yay.
disconnected my microphone. Yeah, so sorry. It
No,
took
it's
so
okay.
long.
I think when you use an external mic, you'll have to like enable it as your default device in your system settings.
Yeah,
It's
you
all
got
to
that.
do.
I did it through Chrono now, but then
Yeah.
I figured I'll just fuck it and we'll just
That's
go
quite
with
all right.
the computer thing.
We're
yeah,
happy to have
yeah.
you.
Thank you for having me. I was thinking, Christian, when I asked about your parents being alive, it was because I thought to myself that this is the equivalent of me visiting like an 80 or 90-year-old person in hospice, our age. I mean, how old are you? About 20 years old? I mean, I'm older than your parents.
Yeah, I'm.
Is this community service?
Take it how you will. I see this as you doing me a great favor and a service, just even being here, even thinking about being here. But
I'm thrilled.
I'm 23. Lorenzo's 25. Yes. And,
I want to be 22 today.
okay.
There you
Does
go.
that make you sexier for the lady you're
We got
about
some,
to
It
rail?
just makes me younger.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Understood.
Oh, God.
And then Marvin here is 28.
Awesome.
Hi, Jamie. Nice to see you again.
I won't ask you your age, Jamie.
Oh, I'm everything is on the table with me. It's I own it.
Still,
I'm
that's
50.
a line
I
out.
just turned 50. Yeah.
Oh, really? So
Congrats.
my parents
Damn.
both just
Me.
turned 50. My parents, both of them.
Okay.
In oh my God, they can never see this. I'm forgetting their birthday month in March. So
Yo,
last month they both turned 50.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, they're within weeks
They
of each
definitely
other.
bonded over that.
Yeah, and
That's
then they
half of why
realized
you're
that
here.
one of them was a gay guy, and then that kind of ended immediately.
Which one was it?
Which one of my parents was the gay guy? I wonder. Let's
Yeah, which
do
one
that
was
math as a family.
It wasn't
Well,
Mikey,
Christian,
was it?
I see some possibilities. Maybe an introduction is due. Who knows?
Oh yeah, maybe
dude.
my
Is he into quirky, non-binary grocery store workers?
he's spoken for now. I will say he's spoken for now. My mother,
That
on the
never
other hand,
stopped me.
Just 'cause there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score, right?
oh, certainly not. And that's great for you. You have a nice soccer bit, Jamie, that I'd love to cover with you or get the scoop on. I love that. Very topical. No, my mom though, she saw you actually. She came to one of the mics that in Woodbridge that you were at, and
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm not just gassing you up here. She gave you high marks for all the
that's
mics on that
wonderful.
lineup. My mom was really impressed by you and
Oh,
just a handful
that's
of
so
other
nice
people.
to hear,
She was
Christian.
not
Yeah.
impressed by me in the slightest. So, yeah, maybe it's your age and that you could relate to one another. I don't know. I was
Is
offended.
there a tough critic in your family? Is there?
I could see it. Maybe they could have went to school together. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah.
who knows?
Is there somebody, Jamie, in your past, or somebody who I guess for me it was a barometer, right? If I can make certain people laugh, or I can make this person laugh or chuckle, was there like that, like a grandpa or something who was like, oh, that's, or who did you bounce off, or how long have you been in comedy?
What a wonderful question.
Thank you.
My mom was my best friend, and we had so much fun together. And she passed away about 4 years ago. But
My condolences.
we
Yeah.
really enjoyed life, and she is somebody who really put herself out there into the world.
Yeah.
And at a time when she lost her husband, she lost my brother, she had serious health problems, but she put herself out there into the world. She was a huge fan of Clyde Drexler, the
Oh
NBA
yeah,
basketball player. She went to
yeah.
his Hall of Fame. I have a great big picture of Clyde and my mom, which I posted on my parents' anniversary, so everybody thought Clyde was my dad.
There you
Um,
go, Jamie
but
Draxler.
she making her laugh was everything. And she never. I just started doing this about 4 months ago.
Oh wow.
I took an
Wow.
acting class in DC, and a girl in the class was doing stand up. She took the improv class, I think. And I said, "Oh, I always wanted to try that." And she said, "Well, come on out and try." And we supported each other, and we did some spoken word poetry. And then I just started going on my own. I think the Palm was the second time I ever did it.
Really?
And yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing up there, but I just try to have fun, and it's some nights are good, and some nights it's harder. But I guess as long as it's such, I really do like it a lot.
Hmm.
I do other stuff. I do like spoken word and theater stuff,
Hmm.
but comedy is so the license to do and be whatever you
Hmm.
want, and to
Yeah.
create whatever you
Yeah.
want is intoxicating. And sometimes I don't really worry about, frankly, if the audience likes it or laughs. I'm saying stuff that amuses me, and sometimes they agree, and sometimes they
Yeah.
don't.
That's what I was going to say. You had me fooled that you've only been doing this for 4 months now, you said, because that's exactly how I view you on stage, as somebody who's very confident and such, to the point that you really don't care about audience feedback, that you are willing to take those risks that certain people aren't. I see you laughing over there. This is a
No,
compliment,
no.
I assure you.
I hope that you don't kick me off your show now that you know me to be the
No,
guy
no.
and insecure.
Not at all. I mean, Marvin, if you're comfortable, I mean, we were just talking that you've only been doing this now for wow. You did your first mic in
In
college.
college, yeah, and
Okay.
kind of
Hmm.
just to do it, and then I left, and I still was in the entertainment space, but very different than, of course, the performative part of it. But I think a lot of those things, like eliciting a reaction, getting somebody to become invested, definitely helped. But in terms of comedy itself, I'm really new myself. Yeah, I would say, like, between college and that mic, it's been like 2 or 3 mics that I've been on. Um, and so, I think it's good to see someone else like starting off, and then who, again, yeah, I echo the same sentiment. It was you could have had me fooled. I thought you were very seasoned up there, very mature. Like it was the confidence thing, and it was I could see the spoken word, because we were talking about this earlier before you were on. It's the word thing, right? It's as simple as a word count, right? Like we were talking about how Christian's opener, in less than 10 words, he gets a laugh. He's very he gets the audience to invest. And I could see the spoken word background, or the acting background, having worked with actors myself, that you kind of have like a you choose the words, your diction carefully, your
Hmm.
words carefully,
And your rhythm too.
your
I mean, your
rhythm,
your
super
beats
important.
were very indicative of your performance. They're truly yours, and that's what I find most fascinating about you when I watch. And the few times I've seen you now, is just your unique delivery, the subject matter that you decide to approach. The combination of the two are truly yours, and unabashedly so. I really admire that about you.
Oh, that I can't thank you enough. That's awesome to hear, and I really I don't know what to make of myself up there. I used to tape myself, and it's hard to watch. I don't.
Yeah.
I hate it. Yeah.
I just
I
started
record.
going up
Yeah,
there and do what you do. But
exactly.
here's what I love. I, I I was in a very different place not too many years ago, and then I put myself out there into the world in a different way. And young people have very much lifted me up and helped me in so many ways. And even just this, like being here, I'm on Discord because I'm in a theater troupe. I did this thing at the theater lab, and it was this great 14-week experience. And then it ended, and I thought, boy, it's a shame it ended. I wish I could keep in touch with these people. And then somebody from the theater troupe she just decided to start her own theater troupe and said, let's start our own theater troupe. And young people, I'm somebody who like has grown up sending out resumes, and young people just do it, and it's nice to. It keeps me young at work and in life to be.
I was going to say the opposite though. That
getting after it.
That keeps me in place. That keeps me afraid to try new things with the lack of formality. I see you laughing down there, Lorenzo. Real quick, I want to say goodbye to Lorenzo. We had a bet. I made a bet at the beginning of this that he was going to be driving to his hookup, and that the audio was going to be so atrocious that I'd have to just cut him off immediately.
That's
so
all right. You gotta get into your
let's
routine,
hear this.
Right?
Let's hear how bad this is. Go ahead. Say something.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, okay, it's all right. It's okay. We might be able to keep you, but the way it was with you walking around, that was just insufferable.
So I was taking out the trash, and there was a helicopter over me.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, make excuses.
No, for real.
We're doing a podcast. This is an audio medium.
No.
Holy shit.
No, I took a picture. I
Helicopter
felt like I was
or not.
ballooned, and that bitch was about
Just
to
as you were
fucking
saying,
get me.
we're
I was
welcoming,
terrified. I
Jamie.
was like,
Just as
yo,
you're
this-
saying, the
this
young people
motherfucker
are
about to swoop
welcoming.
down on me.
I feel like this video is going to be in Discovery at some point.
Yeah.
No,
Look, son.
we'll let
It
you.
was probably the news or some shit.
Yeah, okay, all right. I think you can stick around. This is good. This is much better than
Jamie, what you were saying, the resonates. It
It's
is.
just high fucking
Oh my
tech.
god.
Fucking
Okay, if you're gonna
earbuds.
cut people
I
off,
love it.
I'm gonna kick you. I'm gonna.
My bad.
Yeah, just hang up. Just hang up. We'll talk later. I love Lorenzo. We all love Lorenzo. He's the strong half of this. Like he said, he's the only reason why black people watch, and we love him for that. So Lorenzo, everybody, give it up for him. Yeah, the
Hey.
fake applause. Great. I'll talk to you later.
Oh my
We'll
God, he's-
we'll talk. Let me know how it goes. All right.
Yeah, that's not how it goes. We need an update with your booty call.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All
Peace out.
See it.
Jamie, it was what you were saying earlier though. What can I ask? Like, what does go through your head, or what is your process when you get up there on stage? I think maybe that's where it seems like you're leaps and bounds ahead, where it's like there is that performative. You said you've been in theater. You said you've done spoken word. Like, what does go through your head that's maybe different going up on a theater stage versus a open mic?
I feel like I like to tell stories in my jokes, and if I can put little jokes in the stories. But what makes me love getting up on stage in comedy is the idea that I have something funny that's in my head, and I want to get it out and share it with people. And sometimes it's not funny at all. Sometimes it's just it sucks.
Yeah. More often than not, I find.
Sometimes it is funny, and fuck it. I mean, I can't say I don't care if people laugh. Of course I care. But when I was at the Palm 1 week ago, I had this idea for a story where I would go to Texas, and my brother, and I weren't getting along about me transitioning and all that stuff, and he was having a baby, and I was arguing that the baby should have this open-ended name so it could decide its own gender and all that. Anyway, in the joke, I had this line about my brother deciding to name his baby Fred because he's a big Flintstones fan. And then I just thought of this stupid, corny dad joke where he was all cocky about it, and he told me, there's nothing you can yabba dabba do about it. And that, it's like a tiny little joke inside of the longer joke. And but there's nothing you can yabba do about it, whether I'm Jim or Jamie or whoever I am. That is my essence. That is so stupid and corny.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but laugh. And I don't know. I just try to be myself up there. I try to find myself up there.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never been paid as a comedian, but I can like I'm getting some paid spoken word type stuff, like when I go up and do poetry and all that. But I really much more enjoy comedy, and I want to get good at it. I want to be on the bottom of a piece of paper. You know what I mean? You see
Yeah.
those pieces of paper, and there's like a big giant head, and there's these tiny little
Uh-huh.
heads on the bottom. You know, I want to be one of those little. Also featuring for 5 fucking minutes,
Yeah.
Jamie Mack. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's all I
That
want.
would be really
That's
awesome.
And
that's definitely a
that's within
milestone.
reach, right? You know, so
It
I think
certainly
so.
is.
Yeah. It seems yeah, it
but
seems
it's so
attainable.
fucking fun up there. It's
Mhm.
also addictive, and I had to pull back a couple of weeks, like maybe I was when I first started doing it, I was going like 3 4 times a week
You're
out
biking
there.
everywhere. How do you? Have you not died
Yeah,
at any point? Have you not like just fatigued physically? The travel alone.
yeah.
How?
I had this theater thing in Stafford County yesterday, and I
That's where we're
rode
at. Yeah, I
my
mean,
bike.
and you're
No, not
coming.
Staff. I'm sorry, Loudoun
Oh, yeah,
County. It was
Loudon. Okay.
Sterling. Fuck it, Sterling. It was
So
in, and
Dulles, right? Like that direction. Uh,
yeah, so from Alexandria to there
my
is a
goodness.
hike, and but I used to weigh. I was really in bad shape 3 years ago. I was drinking. I was
Hmm.
way the fuck overweight. I was unhealthy, and I just decided to stop putting oil in my car, and that would break the car, and then I'd be forced to ride my bike everywhere,
Well,
and
Great.
that'll
that's
do
doing
it.
the
Yeah,
trick.
that's
Hey,
one way.
A plus B equals C. I like it.
Um,
A plus B equals I can't use my car
yeah,
anymore. Yeah. I was
uh,
going to add to what you said about the storytelling jokes. How you described the adding the yabba dabba do bit at the end, right? I'm the same way, and Marvin and I were describing our joke telling styles. He was impressed by the sort of economy of words, finding a way to
Concise. Yeah. He's very
make a
concise.
concise joke. But I said that's not what I take to really. I'm more of a storyteller oriented comic. At least that's what I'm finding out in like the 16 or 17 open mics I've done so far in 2 months. Is I much
yeah,
prefer to tell stories that come from the heart, that I know 100% to be true, that nobody
yeah,
can correct me on or take from me, that I can make funny somehow. And the trick
right,
to being able to tell those to any success is to find little ways to sprinkle in cheap shots and little jokes in between. You can't just
yeah,
get up and preach and tell a story for 5 uninterrupted minutes without anything for them to chew on, or else
yeah.
it becomes a sermon. I was just I was regrettably at church this Easter. Again, I'm so sorry that my mom is alive and forcing me to go to church with her just
Oh
because I
no, you're
live with her. Oh my goodness.
good. I'm glad you should go to church with your mom. That's a good
I
thing.
just
Yeah.
no,
Some good comedy at churches, if nothing else.
and there was like a laser light show. This was in Fredericksburg, Life
Oh,
Point Church. It's a mega
I
church that
see.
used to be an ice
Oh,
rink.
cool.
It's insane. I don't know if you watched like Righteous
Wow.
Gemstones. It gave exactly that. It's just posh and the lights and action. Like they had like, I'm pretty sure Whitney Houston was reborn into this woman who opened the whole thing. And they were just infants. There were babies there at this rock opera, with like,
Mm.
like it's insanely loud. I'm like, you're gonna give your infant child tinnitus at age 1. They're not even gonna make it to 1 before
Yeah,
they are
right.
deaf because you insisted on taking them to
Yeah.
the Elton John equivalent of a sermon on Easter. But no, all that aside, definitely with the storytelling, that's
Yeah,
the
Jamie,
tricky part.
do you find yourself wanting to kind of hone in on a unique style, or has this been kind of like learn all styles, like all the above, like I keep equating it to theater, to film acting, just because that's my frame of reference, and it seems like you kind of have that background. But is it like in acting where you learn the Meisner, where you learn method, where you learn and along the way you kind of figure out your own style, what works for you, what doesn't? Or how's that path been for you with comedy so far?
Um, I think I just want to. I have a story to tell about my life and about my journey, and when you get on stage, you can make it ridiculous and exaggerate it. And there are chapters in my life where when I get up on stage and I fictionalize it like that almost, and I make it so exaggerated, it's almost like it makes it fiction to me and less likely to revisit that stuff.
Yeah.
In other words, if I get up there and I make fun of this time in my life,
Yes, you're conquering it.
I'm further away from it. It becomes this foreign thing, and because sometimes it does feel kind of tenuous. And so I've had conversations with comedians who I don't think agree with people sharing about their journey and their sexuality and their gender and all this stuff. But what else? I'm not smart enough to make jokes about regular shit. I'm just,
Yeah.
I know what I know, which is my life. So to get up there and tell these stories about the Days Inn and all these soccer dads and all that helps me live in a way. I don't know. It's very therapeutic up there, and I don't understand it myself. I just know that it's all based in some kind of truth, And fuck, I knew Marvin, your story. You told the story last week about the guy dressed up as a deer, right?
Oh yeah.
That was too funny not to be some element of truth into that, And that's my best stuff so far. But maybe I'll get good. I watch comedians who can just riff about anything, and I'm like, how do they do that? It's really, I have to stay in my narrow, tiny little lane, my filthy, degenerate narrow little lane.
No,
I did that. I did the equivalent of that at this last one. I just went. I think I sent you the flyer too. I sent it to both of you. The Cheers, Mike, in Cleveland Park. I had a Succession bit that I came up with that day. The show Succession on HBO, and I sort of like wrote a whole scene that I was acting out, like a one-man play almost of this fake scene from this show so I was playing like 2 or 3 characters, and I memorized it. I parked at Pentagon City, in the commuter lot, and waited in my car and just ran lines to myself over and over and over again, and got up there and adhered to that as best as I could with the time constraints. But it's a different animal than the freedom of being able to divert from your material and attack the crowd with witticisms and impromptu encounters. It's 2 different things entirely. I really admire people who can. I feel like Mark Normand is a good example of somebody who can just get up there. He's got all his jokes ready to go, and he's just going to tell them the way they go, and not really divert much. But then there, especially a lot of the black comedians, I'll note, they're able to just rip people to shreds, on site, and or look at a situation and do crowd work with such ease, and it's again 2 totally different beasts.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah, I don't know how to do crowd work really. I got heckled the other night, and when I was doing well in Silver Spring that last week, Thursday.
That's the what is the name
Comedy
of that?
to Go. It is Comedy to Go. It was, yeah.
I see.
And I felt like I did good, but there was a really, really drunk woman in the audience, and I handled her well without putting her down. But
I would put her down. I'd get the gun.
That was a new
ready
experience.
Yeah.
I would kill somebody if I'd have to euthanize in the sense, put down in the sense of the word as euthanize is that's where I would get. Truly, the first time I was up, I was at Woodbridge, and there was a lady in the front row, same story the whole time. She was like, that is not funny. No. And what do? You just, for me, I froze up. I was just kind of stuck there. I kept going and ignoring that, but I I didn't want to address her. I didn't want to give credence to that because, or else what? That's all my time is devoted to this person who's effectively won a battle of my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I haven't been heckled since then or anything like the equivalent. I know heckling usually is them trying to contribute to the show and you know, call you out in some way.
She was
more just
talking about
actively
being trans and blah blah
oh
blah
my
and all
gosh.
that, and so I was like, she had said something earlier in the evening, and so I figured it came from her, and I
Yeah.
said, I mean, I dealt with her fine, and I had a good night. I feel like it's but it's just so hard to tell. So I've pulled back. I'm
Yeah.
doing it maybe once a week. I used to do it 3 or 4 times a week, and
That's where
it
I'm at.
became so intoxicating to be up there, and the stuff wasn't coming. It just wasn't the material. I couldn't tell what was good, and so I just gave it some time and
Yeah.
Let it breathe a
stuff
little.
percolate. Now I'm at a point where I've pretty much tried to do something new every time I get up.
Yeah.
And now after a couple months, I can take all the stuff that's worked and try to
Exactly.
put it together in a
Together
solid
somehow.
7 minutes, you know?
As long as you can commit to memory the best stuff, you're going to be able to get up on stage for 15, 20 minutes, even upwards of an hour, and recite it. It'll just come. It'll come to you. That's what I'm finding now, because that's what I set out to do in the beginning. I told myself, I'm only doing new stuff at all these, because what's the point in repeating myself for 5 minutes at each one of these? It's a waste of time. At least I'm able to network, but I'd rather use the stage time to develop stuff I've never tested before. But there's a whole heap of things that go wrong there. I mean, there's the fatigue, for one. I mean, having to come up with things constantly can feel defeating. There's not knowing what a good joke that you have banked is capable of if you haven't tried it on another room, if you haven't seen what potential it has in several demographics, then do you truly know how worth it is using? Because I'll have a joke that I'm like, oh yeah, that did so well, and put that right in my back pocket. And then I started recently in this fatigue state, taking out some of my old stuff and trying it in a new order, and then realizing, oh, maybe this joke that went super well this one time kind of fucking sucks, and maybe maybe it's not gonna work a net majority of times in these other places. So there's benefits to trying things a second and a third time, and like I said, try even changing the order. I've taken a joke, probably for the worse, but I've taken a joke that did well on its own, and I've sort of combined it with a new joke and almost entirely changed the punchline of it effectively. So it's a whole melting pot, trying to take all the collective jokes you've come up with and find a coherent way to display them in a full setting. I'm certainly not ready to do anything more than 10-15 minutes. That's so frightening.
Same here.
Lorenzo, he had to go, bless his heart. I guess this better be some hot ass woman that he had to get up and leave for.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see her later and get the scoop. But I his first one a few weeks ago was 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, what? Who gave you the idea to go and speak for 10 minutes in front of anybody for your first time? I'm like, just the confidence alone. And that's what's so appealing about him, is he's really just, you get him up, you give him a microphone and he'll go, and you wind him up and he'll just keep on going. But I'm not that way. If I don't have something to fall back on, or if I don't feel comfortable, that shit I'll just crumble right then and there. 10 minutes is like an eternity to me right now.
For me, my first 15 seconds or 20 seconds dictate how my night is going to go, because if they are not into this, or they have problems with this, and I've been to places that I just couldn't break through that. And I was talking to another comedian after a show, and he told me, your greatest disadvantage is also your greatest advantage.
It sure
because
is.
You know what people think as soon as you get up on stage. And
Yes,
I said to him, I think everybody else in the world does, and I wish they would let me in on the secret, because I truly don't. because the pace of change in my life has been so rapid and jolting that it is hard for me to understand that, but everybody else knows. And so I guess I try not to worry about it. Most of the times when I do okay in the first bit, it's riffing off of something somebody else said earlier, like at the last night at the the mic at the Palm. Um, Another comedian said something about how she was a delicate flower, and so I got up and my first line was like, "Oh, what a lucky crowd you all are. Your second delicate flower of the night," and that just kind of took the
That was really
tension
good.
out of it. And I can't count on I can't count on that. I don't always know how to do that.
Well, I mean, just like I am. I don't want to speak for you, Marvin, but I think we're all learning how to get in and get to where we need to be as quickly as possible. I think we're figuring that avenue out. Like you were talking about just in the beginning, if we find a joke that really works, that's solid, that you can get out quickly, concisely, win people over as soon as possible. There's not going to be, in that instance, somebody else setting you up for that. But you'll find a way to set yourself up near every time or 90% of the time, without a doubt. Once you get them to laugh, they've already exposed themselves. There's no going back. Now it's almost like they trust you, that you've developed this kinship between yourself and the audience that they don't want to lose. They're eager to laugh at you after the first time. The first time, but the lead up, they're reluctant. They're sort of, folded arms. They're like, oh, what the fuck are we about to see? I don't know. Are they good? Are they not? But if you get them, it's because you got them. It's because now they're hooked. Now they know, okay, it's safe. I can belly laugh. Some snot might come out now, and I won't be ashamed of myself because they earned it. So if you can do that as early as possible, and you'll find a way, you'll find you're in the little secret magic key. I think that's what we're all looking for right now. All this other material that you've been working on will slide. It'll be like a slip and slide. It'll be so seamless. I
agree though. Yeah, back to yourself.
Are you going to any mics in the next couple of weeks, or what are you all doing?
Yeah, let's do that. And just what were we going to say, Marvin?
Oh, what was I going to say? Oh no. Yeah, like you were saying with self-inventory and making your jokes off that, and I'm kind of in that same boat, but like I do envy those comedians who can, take a water bottle and make that funny. And I think it is just learning the process and repetition, and practice makes perfect. And
learning your process.
Yeah.
Don't try to be like someone else, because again, I think what we were saying in the beginning, the true stuff is what resonates the most. It's what's going to allow you to deliver it in the most honest way. And honesty it makes for a great sales pitch. Comedy is a sales pitch. That's another thing. I took a class from Jessica Curson, a seminar. That's what got me into this. And that's one of the things she really reinforced, was that when you're up on stage, you aren't just fighting for the audience's approval. You're trying to sell them. They're there to convince them to buy your product, right? So what your responsibility to do on stage is to convince the audience that you, the comedian, and that these jokes, your products, are something that they paid for and that they can be pleased with. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you don't, what's somebody going to do with a shitty product? They're gonna write a bad review. They might throw it out. They have every right to get upset by it, and they will in most cases. So
sometimes I feel like I have I'm not. I watched a video I took of myself at an open mic. It was incredibly loud, and you couldn't hear anybody. And I got up. I was the second to the last one of the night, and nobody was paying attention. And in my video, there's a guy about my age, probably a little older, and he's turning around and he's pointing at me to a friend, and he's basically saying, "This motherfucker really sucks. Get a load of this."
Oh man.
And I was so rock bottom at that moment. I had nobody's attention. I was dying up there. So I had this joke where I talk about coming out and how it's surprising that in this day and age, like everybody's just jumping out of their way to treat me like a 9/11 firefighter. That's my joke. And I say in my joke, oh, it's funny. I don't feel like Rosa Parks when I'm jerking off a resting soccer dad in the underground parking lot at Trader Joe's. But in my joke at this bar, I actually started jerking the imaginary soccer dad,
and that's powerful.
And then I said, oh, and I don't feel it. And I said, oh, this is my imaginary closeted soccer dad, Doug or whatever. And Jesus Christ, he's made a big mess. So I basically imaginary masturbated somebody on stage.
That's a powerful image.
And that motherfucker. But the point is that in the video, the guy who was deriding me, like there was all this laughter around him, and I know he didn't like me, but he had to turn his ass around and pay attention.
Yes.
Because I took a huge risk. I fucking imaginary jerked somebody off on stage. I had nothing to lose,
Yeah.
And
you start pantomiming cocks and splooge, it does have an effect.
I did that at the Palm, and I didn't expect to be doing this at this station in life.
No, certainly not.
Why the fuck not? We only have one role, we only have one fucking go around. So why not work at a grocery store and show up on a stage and imaginary jerk somebody off and just live life to its fullest?
Definitely. And I want to say,
love that.
Marvin, if you have an out, again, it's 10 p.m. I totally understand. I don't want to hold you hostage. He's been here since 7:30, Jamie.
Oh wow!
So
I'm good to hang for a little bit. I might head out here soon though.
All right, so we'll continue this. And Jamie, I'm here as long as you want to be. Truly, I actually happen to live here, so you just give me a look, blink twice in rapid succession.
Yeah, all right.
And I'll walk you out. We'll do that, and I'll come right back to you, Jamie.
Okay,
all right. But I just wanted to clear the air there. I definitely am not in the business of keeping hostages.
No, this has been fun. This is fun.
Good.
As far as my schedule goes, I've been like I had some work for the next couple weeks, but it kind of fell through. So my next couple weeks are open.
I want to talk about I want to talk about your work, Marvin. I do. I know you can't. I know that was some of what you discussed on stage.
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated.
It's part of my material, so I definitely.
Yes. So please give us anything. Stories.
Yeah.
What?
No, definitely. So I studied film in college, and I tried to get into it, and it was just one of those things that first generation American, families are very traditional. Like making a living in the arts is just very foreign. No pun intended.
Yeah.
So to kind of do this is and no, all ego aside, it is kind of breaking a lot of different barriers for a family.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm sorry I didn't laugh at the pun remark. Those go right over. No, they go right over my head. Is the problem? Like it took me until right now to register that was a pun. It's just like,
oh man, I love it.
Holy shit, I'm so slow and stupid. Yeah, that was good. Work that into your set. Go ahead, keep going.
No, where was I at? It was just very like just taking steps. Like, hey, okay, I studied it, so I know what I'm doing. And so just okay, now I got a gig and it's for free. Now I got a gig and it's paid. Now I could pay the bills doing this. And
damn,
it was on the technical side first. Like my film school is very hands-on, with gear and everything. So I learned practical, not theory. And that was good for a bit. I just couldn't see myself, for decades on end, lugging cameras, lugging lights, even though I very much enjoy it, the technical side. So I went recently into like assistant directing and producing and things like that. And the ultimate goal is to direct, of course. Yeah. But I've been fortunate, and it's been good because it's just so much stuff on these sets that just kind of are fodder. Like I said on stage, there's such for these bits. Like I have this bit I'm working on where on the day of the insurrection, I was at the Trump rally working for Tiger King.
Working for Tiger King?
Yeah, and it's just like It's like if I say that sentence out loud, it just sounds preposterous, and I'm like,
That's
I
a
have to do
bit.
a bit
That's-
about this, right?
Oh my God, that's like
And
a
it's just-
whole
it's just
hour,
like,
actually.
yeah. But then to Jamie's point, it's like give me this water bottle and ask me to make a joke or ask me to make it, and I can't. I really, or at least it's not my strength. And I'm trying to work on that.
Definitely.
But at present moment, the material that I think resonates best with me and helps and is easy for me to present in a funny, palpable manner is just like these set stories, and they're as nuts as you think, man. Like a lot of these people, whether it be celebrity that's gone over their head or just situational, or it's just there's just so much funny stuff that happens on these sets and these moments, and I just like to incorporate it. Like,
Dang.
and yeah, sorry.
That sounds like a
got
gold
wordy.
mine, though. I certainly not. And I used to work at a grocery store as well, Jamie. So I have
Okay.
that kinship with you. I used to
Nice,
think the
nice.
same way, right? About all the customers and about all the vendors and the nonsense that goes on in the day to day of being a grocery store worker. And I was supposed to manage that store. That's a whole different story of bullshittery and being fucked around. But I mean, to be on a film set, I mean, no offense, I know that you act, Jamie, but you'll know the environment of most film production, or whether it's play production. There's a lot of problematic people, or people dealing with or not dealing with their own mental problems, and that environment, those environments are just ripe for for joke writing, I feel. I mean, I never had more fun observing people. It wasn't at a grocery store. It was definitely when I was in like Little Shop of Horrors in high school, when I was the dentist, just watching the background dancers have it out for each other, watching the pit orchestra, as a trumpet player, watching the drama there with the band director. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's something about those environments. I'm very envious of
the
Marvin.
truth. Yeah, thank you. I mean, well, I don't know if it's one of those things that like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm jealous. Shit. Go ahead.
It's better than they tell you in screenwriting class. It's like just people watch it, and the truth is always funnier, or stranger, or more interesting. 'Cause that's my big thing. It's like it would suck, of course, to not get the laughs, but to be boring is just like sinful,
Yeah.
And, so I try to throw a little bit of that, and it's great talking with you, Jamie, just because I'm coming at this from such a different perspective. Like I never had any ambitions, never had any inclination to act or to be in front of the camera, or through and through I've always been behind the camera. And recently in my journey to like direct movies and everything, I've realized that's a hindrance, it's a handicap to not be in that performer mindset, to not and so that's part of the reason, or my motivation to go into comedy. It wasn't necessarily to make it big or to sell out crowds. It's like, no, let me get into a performer's mind. Let me know what it feels like to try to go up there and elicit a reaction. And if I'm terrible at it, that just means like I can sympathize with the performers just that much more, because it's always been, as bad as it is for crew, it's romanticized, right? It's long hours, it's a lot of work. It's just as hard, if not harder, for the talent. And so it was very we were saying, talking beforehand, it was very cathartic. It was very euphoric just to like get a,
it's an eye-opening experience putting yourself in someone else's shoes that you exist around, especially in a professional environment. If you're around performers all the time and you haven't performed, you might look at their failures as, little bumps in the road. But to those people, bombing in any capacity is sometimes life altering. I mean, if you've been on a stage, and I have in like high school, middle school, where I've had to, present something, when the words escape you, or when your legs start shaking and it's visible, those moments really they manifest into greater traumas that these people grapple with revisiting time and time again in your profession. So again, like just being a director, just being a stagehand crew is its own environment. But if you're taking these risks and stepping into their shoes and seeing how it is not just to succeed but to fail, you're ultimately bettering the entire production, because you're able to empathize with them. You're able to utilize their emotional drive and ups and downs in ways that you've now seen personally through your own experience, you know.
Yeah. Jamie, I can see why you performers like it, like that. Listening a reaction, getting a crowd to applaud, and
that rush.
It's a rush. Yeah, it's I get it now a little bit. You know, I actually wanted to ask, like, can you pinpoint a moment where, like, you said it was, you used the words, that's the only reason I'm saying, you said it was addictive. You said it was, can you point to a moment where you're like, oh wow, I found my thing and this thing makes me feel good in terms of performing? And like, let me keep chasing this feeling.
For me, I spent a large part of my career in the public eye. I was a newspaper reporter. I would be a talking head on
I want to
cable
pick your
news
brain
at
about that
times.
too, if you're comfortable
And
talking about your work as a reporter. That to read about that was really fascinating. But please continue.
I did that for a long time, and then I became a private investigator, and then my life changed because I changed it, and there were certain things happening in my life that made me want to change and to live a good and authentic life. And so I decided to be nothing. I decided to just sort of start over, and I decided not to be Jim anymore, but to be Jamie. And I decided to get a job in a public facing job. I didn't care what money I made or whatever. I just wanted to give this part of myself I used to want to hide a job, and to put myself out there into the world in this way. And I got a job at an organic grocery store in Arlington, and I've been there about maybe a year and 2 or 3 months, and it completely changed my life. Um, People look at you, and they look at your name tag and your pronouns and all that, and they look at you again, and they will make a judgment about you, and I will see them and I will make a judgment about them. And most of them don't care, and they're my favorite. They just want to get their food and go home. And then there are other people who are incredibly kind, and then there's a small percentage of people who are very unkind. But the overall experience has taught me that the world is an incredibly good place, and I am happy to be in it. And me performing is just kind of a natural outgrowth of that experience. It's like I'm living this good and authentic life, and I want to have my say in the world, whether it's through poetry or spoken mic or acting. And I have a play reading for a play I wrote in Baltimore in a couple weeks. And
Congrats.
I'm just doing things I kind of always wanted to do but couldn't. And so stand up is fun for me, and I like it, but it's not the only thing. And I'm just trying to just keep putting myself out there and living in the world.
Would you
getting
say?
the most out of it.
Sorry, would you say that because you described the people you interact with, I found that interesting. Would you say that the people who sort of carry about their business and that don't care one way or the other, that they're your favorite because they accept you as like another thing just not to care about, as just an ordinary person?
Yeah, you're just an ordinary worker
Yeah.
doing your job. And
Exactly.
that's all you want to be.
You wouldn't
But-
obsess about the other, 12 people in the front or back
Exactly.
end. Why?
Don't like Fox News. I don't know if you remember, a couple months ago there was this Department of Energy official who was non-binary, and he got in trouble for stealing some luggage in a Minneapolis airport. Now,
Yes,
and it was
we covered that.
glaring.
We actually covered that on our podcast. We both fun.
I had a problem with the coverage of it, because if that guy was just a you know, a man or a woman, it's a low level municipal offense and it doesn't get coverage.
Yes.
So why are we making it newsworthy by virtue of
Yeah.
how this person
Yeah.
identifies?
I think the
That's what-
absurdity of just that this was a government official. I totally get what you're saying, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think what made it a phenomenon is people's predisposition to think that you know, the gender binary and to them, men, I'll say in air quotes, men wearing women's clothing already is a taboo in of itself. But then to have this Department of Energy official doing that at airports, this was just like ripe for the picking for, like you said, Fox News.
So my experience in the trans journey and speaking to lots of trans people and getting medical care, none of it suggests that I am at a higher risk of stealing luggage.
Exactly. Yes.
But how about stealing luggage in Minneapolis?
Oh, there we go.
It's the
Maybe
geographical.
being in a Minneapolis bathroom, but
There's something more alluring about that particular
stealing
airport.
packages in Minneapolis.
Just as is the Days Inn at wherever you frequent, you know, this is at luggage theft territory, Minneapolis. Oh man.
The point is you don't want to be seen as anything but who you are. And sometimes I had a customer who was incredibly unkind to me, and it was an awful interaction. And then I got upset and I walked away and I stopped for a while. Instead, I just wanted to be off the register. And I took some receipt paper and I wrote a poem about the guy. And then I took it to Busboys and Poets a week later, and it lit the crowd up. Like it made me feel good. I took something that sucked, something painful, and I turned it into art, you know, and that's what we're all doing with comedy, with whatever it is we do, you know.
Even your perspective about the his name Sam Brinton is the person's name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Even your perspective on that is so nuanced, and coming from you, that is. Are you writing about that yet? I know you hesitate to talk about it to give it airtime, but you really have something with that. You can bring people around and see the other side and see, hey, maybe it isn't as absurd as you fuckers think it is. Why is it that just because this person is trans or non-binary that this is way more of a spectacle? Let's talk about Clarence Thomas and his misgivings, or you know, literally anything else. So why
I
does
had this bit about the only politician bit I ever tried, and I never could get the whole damn thing out because I get 5 minutes, is it's a bit I have about dog walkers around the Capitol. You know, these interns you see. You could go take a video camera and watch these kids. They walk politicians' dogs. I know it. I tried to get them to talk to me. It's been happening for years. They're like low-level committee people, and they walk show dogs all around the Capitol, and they're clearly not their dogs. So they're walking a politician's dog. And so and what I said at the Palm was, I did a bad job setting that up, but I said, oh, you know, so in other words, this is the people who have some important house in government in the free world. And you are free to bring your dogs in there to piss and shit all over the people's house. But a couple of my rowdy friends drop by unannounced and shuffle some papers and put some feet on the desk and wear some funny hats. And now it's a federal case, you know? And then I said, oh, there we go again. Another trans comedian defending the Trump rioters, you know?
That's good.
That's really good. That's good.
That's
but
excellent.
There's so much. I can't get to it fast enough, but there's so much more to that issue of these dog walking kids.
Well, sometimes withholding is better. I mean, truly, cut yourself off. Don't beat a dead horse, right? I mean, if they get it, if they laughed, sometimes you don't want to. You can only wring the fruit so much before you wring it dry and the payoff ends, you know. So I do have to consider that when I have a bit or something that I feel like you guys you don't even, there's like so much more to this, like please just hang with me for like a little bit. Like I have so much more to tell you about this, but if if you feel like you hit an apex or a peak, hey, leave it right there on the floor and move get the fuck out of there.
That's the problem with storytelling jokes is you can't get out. You're just
Yeah.
you're gonna live or die on it. I had
Yeah.
I did like I was up there for 8 minutes and I died the whole time. And I tried to tell a story. It was sheer arrogance on my part that it was about New Jersey's former governor, Jim McGreevey. I know you probably never heard of him, but he came out when I used to be a young reporter in New Jersey and I covered him, but he got caught up. He basically hired as Homeland Security Director this tour guide he was banging, a guy, and
Oh, wow.
it all blew up, because it was right after 9/11, and he appointed as Homeland Security Director somebody
Wow.
whose previous experience was as a tour guide in Israel, and he was just a hot piece of ass,
Yeah.
And I had the story about my own interactions with the governor and how I failed to see what were very obvious signs where the governor at the time was hitting on me.
Really? Making
But I was-
passes at you.
There's no
Wow.
doubt about it. I was a young reporter. I was in my early 20s. I would show up
Handsome,
in
of
shorts and all
course.
that. But here, I was such a big fucking head that I thought the governor is like, wow, this little tiny weekly newspaper reporter in fucking the Pinelands of New Jersey. Wow, what brilliant coverage on the
How much does that
delays of
hurt? How much does that hurt truly? Like when
Well,
you
I think we would have made a great couple. And I think there's still hope. I mean,
Yeah, hey, there's always never say never, right?
Yeah. Like you said, it's never stopped you. Somebody's
Jamie, do you feel this pressure, whether by others or on yourself, to kind of carry the baton for the trans community, or to give light to these type of stories where, I think that story is very, like, timely isn't the word, but it's very connected to what I think a lot of people can be going through in the workforce. It's like, oh wait, there's all these taboo decorum things that are very traditional and very outdated. And do you feel like that? Do you feel like you have to kind of represent or hold the baton?
I don't even feel like some of my stuff will resonate in that community. I really, in my comedy, I feel like I push back on the notion that I should be getting a Congressional Medal of Honor. For,
Yeah, you mentioned that
whacking
earlier.
somebody off
Yeah.
and all that. But at the same time, hopefully there's an implicit agreement with the audience where I have one set or bit or whatever where I describe my rock bottom, and I say, well, I didn't necessarily need too big a shovel to dig into my courage reserves when I am at rock bottom, handcuffed to a hospital bed, blowing a .15 and a cop outside the door, and the psychiatric intake nurse says, what do you do to release stress? And don't be funny. Tell me the truth, or else you're gonna, be Hinckley's roommate or something. And I say, well, I like to watch the Sixers. I like to play wiffle ball. Every other day I would go buy a bottle of bourbon and drink it and rent a room at the Days Inn and do all these filthy things with these soccer dads. And and I like to watch bird watching. And
in no certain order.
then, yeah. And then I will slip in there and say, but the good news is the doctor came in and told me two things. First, you're trans. And I say, well, that I can agree with. And the good news is ever since then, I haven't drank any alcohol. I've lost 40 pounds. I don't take high blood pressure medication anymore. And the audience will always clap for that.
Wow. I was going to say, I wish I had that applause button. I really am so, I'm just slacking on my end.
It's like, I feel like if I'm working well, people are like, I'm conceding I'm not John Glenn out here for doing what I'm doing.
Sure.
I'm not Martin Luther King, but the audience is coming and conceding, yes, this is healthcare. Trans healthcare saves lives. And this is a person who, is a good-hearted doofus up there, and we'd hate to see something bad happen. So maybe there's like this coming together That's why I feel like I do okay down in Woodbridge. I don't always do well in LGBTQ sort of areas or welcoming spaces. So I don't really have a home. I don't know where I deserve. I will say I wrote that poem I wrote about that guy. I went to a poetry reading and I did that poem, and a man got up in the front row and he walked all the way to the back, came back and tapped me on the shoulder and said, I want to thank you. You did that for all of us. I was born a woman, and you wouldn't know that. I never would have known that. That was amazing to me, and that made me feel really good. But you know, I don't feel any. I don't want any labels or any of that, or any kind of flags one way or another.
You're not proclaiming to be this thought leader or,
No.
icon of any kind, but certainly when you do things like that, there will be those moments, and I'm sure that's gratifying.
It's hard to put yourself out there in the world in a different way. It's hard, but I'm glad I'm doing it because I'm here hanging out with you all. You guys are in your 20s. You're talking to like somebody twice your age, and I'm really happy
It's a
in
good
life.
discourse. Yeah.
And even the people who are unkind teach you how to live in the world. I used to hide my name tag in my vest when I would see certain people come up to my register, or I would flip it over, or I would try to avoid the situation. Now, if somebody is unkind to me, I stand up to myself. And sometimes men will be so. I'll be like, would you like a bag with that? And they'll be like, oh no, I don't need a bag with that. I'll manhandle it. And then I get to watch them as they try to carry like 15 cans of spaghetti sauce and putting things on their head like the National Geographic thing, and all that, and dropping shit all over the parking lot. I'm like, oh, you taught me a lesson,
I'd love to see somebody, oh my gosh, it's such a ridiculous stance to take. I mean,
yeah, there's people who just are not down with it, and they will let you know.
No, but go that length. It's
they're
absurd.
In the minority, I guess I'd say. They don't represent most people, but it does shake you up sometimes. And,
well, we're coming up on 10:30 here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm an ally, Ali. Jamie always.
I think
I think we
can wrap. Really, truly, and I'll stay on the call with you, Jamie, so we can just wrap up you and I. But I'm going to see Marvin out. But real quick, I just want to say to the audience, thank you for listening. If you did to this point, I know we had a period where there were technical things setting up halfway through, but we'll clip the shit out of this. No one's going to watch this at length, anyways. The good parts you will see, I promise. And thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on, and great conversation.
Anytime. Both of
Jamie.
you, more than welcome to come back. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.